will trim this. Okay. Hi, it's Emery. So I want to talk to you about comparing passages for tone. We're going to be looking at what tone is and then how to answer these questions on IXL. So tone is something that helps convey emotion you should feel when you read or hear a passage. In general, tone reflects how the narrator feels about his topic. Often, it means the same as talking about the tone of somebody's voice. Someone can sound angry, frustrated, or exhausted, or happy, or excited, or lots of tones. So you might have heard somebody say, "Don't talk in that tone to me," if they're particularly angry, especially. But also, you can have a tone of voice that's really excited, like if I'm about to go to Disney World. My voice might pick up a little bit and I might get really excited. So tone reflects how I feel. It can also reflect when I feel sad. If I'm talking about something tragic that happened, my tone is going to get a little bit different. When we read, we don't have the ability to hear somebody's voice, but reading is communication, and there's still a tone to everything that we read, a sense or a mood that the author has kind of behind their writing. So we're going to learn how to detect what that tone is without having the benefit of getting to hear somebody's literal physical voice. So I want to show you some examples that are a little bit more simple than these IXL ones, just so we can kind of warm up. So how about this question? It asks, how would you characterize the tone of the following sentence? I won the game fair and square, and I'll fight anyone who says differently. Well, I kind of read it in a certain voice, but is it delighted? Probably not. It's probably not bored or deceitful. I would say it's angry. Woohoo! Okay, what do a tone of a piece of writing and a speaker's tone of voice have in common? So this is something we just talked about. In speech, tone is expressed by volume. In writing, tone is expressed by dialogue. Not necessarily. In speech, tone is expressed by words. In writing, tone is expressed by punctuation. Sometimes punctuation has a lot to do with it. They are similar, but written tone is expressed in the author's vocabulary and syntax. They aren't related at all. I'm going to say C. Because a lot of times it's the words that people use and the way they structure their sentences in written form that help us to know what their tone is. So tone is most closely related to A, emotion, B, capitalization, C, erudition, or D, punctuation. I'm going to say emotion because tone is really conveying emotion through written word. Woohoo! What kind of tone would you most likely find in a newspaper editorial that endorses a political candidate? Well, if it's a newspaper editorial and it's endorsing a political candidate, we're probably going to want to make that political candidate look really good. So if we're endorsing them, that means that we're supporting them. So it's probably going to be B, optimism and enthusiasm. The rest of these are all kind of negative, and you'd want to be really positive if you're trying to promote a political candidate. What is the tone of the following sentence? Here we go again, he moaned as he watched the other team score yet another goal. Well, let's look at that word moaned. When you moan something, you're not really feeling very good about it. That's a fairly negative word. And he's watching the other team score yet another goal. Sounds pretty, maybe frustrated. He's definitely not experiencing joy. Fury might be a little bit too strong. He's definitely not excited. I'm going to go with frustration. This one. Compare passages for tone. So select the passage that has a more uneasy tone. So the two passages are here. I'm actually just going to click on the one that's correct. So it says, what has a more uneasy tone? So what makes you feel not at ease, uneasy? Shivering, with the sense of an arm still about her, the wild breath beating on her cheek, she looked out at the stars. They burned steadily in their violet hold, a million kindly eyes welcoming her. Okay, this one, she had a strange disembodied thought that long ago in another life she had seen these stars. The night seemed dark, and yet there was a pale luminous light, a light from the stars, and she had imagined it would always haunt her. This is tough. This is definitely a little bit more mature than the examples we were just looking at. I'm going to say the second one, and the reason why is because this first one, it says, they burned steadily in their violet hold, a million kindly eyes welcoming her. If you're experiencing these stars metaphorically looking at you with kindly eyes and you feel welcomed by them, that's not really uneasy. Sounds like she actually feels very easy. But in this second one, it says that she imagined it would always haunt her. This is the light from the stars, would always haunt her. So feeling haunted makes me feel a little bit uneasy. I'm going to go with that one. Whew. All right, select the passage that has a more academic tone. So academic, being studious, think about schoolish. Yeah. Is it any way possible to listen better? I burrow behind this music with my ears. I hear its very cause. I seem to assist at its birth. So that sounds very, like, connected, like it's very poetic. Academic is going to be a little bit more formal, a little bit less emotional. Let's look at this one. Noise affects the eardrums as an irregular succession of shocks, whereas a musical sound is smooth and pleasant. With music, the eardrum is thrown into successive periodic vibrations to which the auditory receptor has been attuned. That is very knowledge-based, it's very academic.